Well, good morning, friends. We're going to get started and make sure we have all our handouts. And gosh, we're igniting our business. So I have met with each of you to kind of go over logins and download apps and stuff like that. Great. So you're ahead of the game. You wouldn't believe there have been people to start Ignite in the past and they've never logged into my KW, so it is you can't go quite as fast. Now I know I gave you a lot of handouts and we will go over them. The first thing I have to do, because this is a credit for continuing ed, is read to you this letter. We process our CE credits through a accredited school named Outfront Education. So this is the disclosure. Outfront Education is approved by the Georgia Real Estate Commission to offer sales pre-license, broker pre-license, post-license, and continuing education courses. The school code is 6333 and the renewal date is December 31st, 2020. And the school policies are located on our website at outfronteducation.com. This program meets the requirement of the Georgia Real Estate Commission for the 25-hour Georgia Real Estate Sales Post-License course or 33 hours of continuing education credit. In order to receive credit for this course, you must be on time and present for the entire 36 hours of instruction. That's 12 sessions times 3 hours per. Once the instructor begins, you will not be allowed in the classroom. Your completion information will be electronically transmitted to the Georgia Real Estate Commission via their online course completion portal at the end of the course upon successful completion. Entrance qualifications and standards of completion will not be based on the student's race, color, sex, religion, national origin, familial status, or handicap. Prohibition of recruiting. No recruiting for employment opportunities for any real estate brokerage firm is allowed in this class or on the school premises. Any effort to recruit by anyone should be reported promptly to the Director of Outfront Education at 770-474-2322 or to the Georgia Real Estate Commission at 404-656-3916 International Tower, Suite 1229, Peachtree Street, Northeast Atlanta, Georgia 30303-1605. Thank you and enjoy your class. So you can keep that piece of paper. So let's talk about some of the things that I gave you. Let's see. The two things I want you to put, we're going to put in our notebooks some of the handouts, and I'm going to explain what they are. Every day, I'm going to give you something like that. What's the top one there, Maria?
Not your business, session 1, summary and key terms.
Right. Summary and key terms. I'm preparing one for every class. I have about half of them done. What I've done is I've looked at the final exam, and I've looked at what I know that is really important for you to know to do well in your business. And so it's sort of like, it's not an outline, but it's a refresher. So I want you to put that in the front of your session 1 in your book. And every day I'll bring one and you'll put it in the front of whatever session. So when it comes time to review, this will be helpful, I promise. And I gave you a highlighter because I'm a highlighter. I like to, indicate. So throughout the class today, and we have different instructors that teach, and they have different styles, and not everybody's going to do it exactly the way I do it, and that's fine. I'm still going to give you a summary and key terms sheet for their class. So anyway, some of the terms and stuff are defined on that sheet, some are not, but if the term is on there, it's in the chapter, and you should figure out what it is, it's there. So, then the next thing I want you to put, so I actually want you to put this at the beginning of chapter 1 because I have other things I want you to put in front of chapter 1, and that would be my sheet of many colors.
Right here.
Yeah, please. And I'm gonna give you I want this and these two to go, and let's put the rest of these in front.
Okay.
So the this one I want inside of this chapter.
Okay.
And the rest of them,
Outside of the.
Oh, so these were outside of the chapter. On the
Right.
Flip that. All right.
So when you open your book, you see the sheet of many colors. You caught in the paper clip. And let me explain what these things are. Let's put this to get, you want to put that in. Here we go. Okay. Did I share a sheet like this with either of you already?
This one?
Uh-huh. Yes, no?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This is your, and look, there's stuff on the back of the page. That's sort of your roadmap to just about everything you need to do, learn, attend, to where we feel like you never stop learning, but we've covered what all you need to do. So as we go through, you're going to hit some of those. So I just want you to check off, and later we'll take time to actually work through that. So let's see, what's the next one? The next one, okay. Guess what? You're in business, and you've got to find business, and we're going to talk about this a little more. You know what? Let's save this. I'll come back to this one. Turn to the purchase and sale agreement, if you would. This is the number one form that you need to get familiar with, and you'd be surprised how many answers to your client's questions are actually in the pages. So the way it's designed is page 1 has all the blanks that you fill in, but then within the subsequent pages, there are the paragraphs that explain everything on page 1. Then you get to page 6, and you that's when you declare which exhibits that you're attaching to it, like how you're going to pay for this, so the financing exhibit, etc. And last page is signature. Throughout this class, I want you to work your way through here. You don't have to read it all in one sitting, but every class I'm gonna highlight something you're gonna go. I'm telling you. And because I'm going to make sure that you have read every paragraph. We're gonna work through it.
Okay.
And then the last page that's kind of the dialogue, the first thing we recommend, the sheet that I may have put it in a different order in your book, Maria, it doesn't matter. You got to get the word out to people you know that you're in business, that you're a real estate agent. So one easy way is when you're calling people you know, just during the course of, you're calling, catch up, say hey, whatever. Tell them that you've started a new business. You don't have to say new career, say new business, because you are independent contractors. And so as you're just sharing the good news to them, oh, by the way, if you were to, this is a softer approach, if you were to, if you needed to buy or sell or invest in real estate, or someone you knew did, do you have a trusted real estate advisor that you would use or refer them to? So right away you're acknowledging there are lots of real estate agents out there, you know, and you're not even asking them for anything yet. Now you can call them and say, hey, I just got my license. Know anybody who needs to buy or sell? If that works for you, that's great. But this is a comfortable way of asking them. And then, of course, the answer is either yes or no. They have their go-to realtor. And the short version is, if it's no, then, well, I'd like to apply for that job, or whatever, you know, well, I'd like to earn the right to be that person for you. And then if it's yes, you say that's great. You need to have a trusted real estate advisor. And because I'm new in my career, you know, can you tell me some good things that they do that really set them apart? Purpose of that question is twofold. One, they may have been just holding you at arm's length. They don't really have somebody, but they just didn't want you to ask them for their business. But if they are great, hey, Tony, you might actually learn something, you know? And so you're trying to make a first impression of you as a trusted real estate advisor. So, you know, asking them these, respecting the fact that they may already have a relative in the business or something, that's fine. But you can just go about calling everyone in your phone, and in addition to, hey, how are you, you know, reconnecting however you know them, just asking this question and working through the answer. And obviously if they say, no, I don't know anybody, and you want to apply for the job, then would it be okay if I sent you some information periodically? Well, then of course that opens it up to, you got to get all the, make sure you have the correct contact, even their home address, because we've got some interesting information to send them about the market. So from here forth, you can't say, I don't know what to say. Just at a minimum, work through that. And you'll find out that the vast majority of people don't have a go-to realtor, so you can apply for that job. And if they do, and they don't want to do business with them, they can stay in your phone but not go in your database, because your database is about your business. Okay? All right. I invited Tony Troich to come visit us because he took Ignite, well, part of Ignite, because he had a full-time other job. He could only come in on Mondays and Tuesdays. So he has a story of how he struggled to find the time to work his business, but he is going now. So Tony, please come and share. Well, this is Gerard, and this is Maria.
Nice to meet you, Maria.
Maria, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Yes.
So, yeah, I was very excited that Stacy invited me to come talk about my first year in real estate, because that means that somebody besides my mom thinks I'm successful at real estate. No, and I do feel that I am successful in real estate. I did 3 closings in my first year, the plan was, when I started real estate, I was working at Bones Steakhouse. Are you familiar with it? One of the top-rated steakhouses in the country. It's an incredibly physically and emotionally draining job, and I was required to work 50-plus hours a week there. And you think about it, in a 12-hour shift, because I worked Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Wednesday, Thursday, Fridays were 12-hour work days, pretty much no break for me. And when I say physically demanding, I'm doing 25,000, 30,000 steps a day, and I'm running trays up and down stairs. And if you don't meet your time standards or you get complaints, you're in danger of losing your job. So it's emotionally draining and physically. And on top of that, I shared 50-50 custody of my daughter with my ex-wife. and we have a great relationship, but so it's not all bad. But at the same time, I still have, I'm working a job 55 hours a week. I have to take care of my daughter, and I don't know anybody either. I basically moved here from LA 4 years ago, and I didn't do anything but work. So I've got no contacts, no time, and no energy. I still need to build a real estate career. And people said you might want to come up with a different plan, because how many people have the energy to start a new career when they're working that much? And so every moment I was not at work or with my daughter, it was spent working on real estate. It was before work, it was after work. On Mondays and Tuesdays, I spent as much time as I could when my daughter was at school, and even when I brought her home. And then Saturdays and Sundays before I went to work, I would do as much as I could as well. And when you talk about 70 to 80 hours a week, that's what I worked consistently week in, week out. And I didn't get days off. If I felt like I was getting exhausted and I could see my productivity dropping, I would make myself take a day off, because I'm not Superman, as much as I want to be. Literally, and in between, so from Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, those days, it was 14 to 16 hours a day every single day. So that's 60 plus hours a week right there. And it's mentally draining. It takes it out of you. But I would never let myself quit. When I woke up, I said, I don't want to do it today. I would never say, no, you're not doing it. Just get up, drink a little coffee, do something. Do one item on my list, my checklist of things to do. And then, start doing one item, and then 2 items. And then all of a sudden that turns into a couple phone calls. It turns to all my phone calls. And then all my emails, and then my market research. And all of a sudden, it's 2:30 in the afternoon. I've been working since 8. 6.5 hour workday. That's a pretty solid workday when you're exhausted. And the reason I was able to do this is I really took a lot and I focused on my big why. And you're going to hear about your big why a lot here. And if you use that, it's going to help keep you going. And your big why is why you do what you're doing. Okay, it can't be a TV or a car, because those things are going to go away. You're not going to be happy with those. And for me, it's my daughter. I don't want to be a waiter the rest of my life and miss the events in her life, plays or sporting events, because I have to work when everybody else is off. So I said, I'm going to make the short-term sacrifices now to build for the long-term success, long-term in my life, and be able to have that time with her. And I'm going to be honest, I did not want to call my friends and family and ask them for business. I did not want to door knock. I did not want to cold call. I was scared to do all these things. Now I make over 1,000 cold calls a week to look for business. Okay, I'm adding 20 to 25 contacts to my database a week to build my business. And I'm not saying that's what you got to do, because I'm a little over the top sometimes. But I'm still starting with nothing in my database. And so, having started with that nothing in my database, 1 year later, I quit Bones. I quit Bones a month ago. I'm now working part-time at our next chop shop, and it's a much healthier environment to do that. On the emotional and the physical side, and just for my future career as a real estate agent. So now that I have only 18 to 20 hours a week in the restaurant, that frees up 30 hours in my week. And I'm applying, and still a lot of that to real estate now, but I get to apply more of that to my personal life as well. So those first 3 deals in my first year, my first month of my second year, I've already had 2 deals closed. Okay, I've got 3 to 4 listings lined up for the summer, and I've got 3 to 4 buyers lined up as well. If I can close 7 of those, that puts me at 9 deals before the end of the year. That's exponential growth on last year, and that's not even my year started May 1 with Keller Williams. So that means I'll have plenty of time for capping. This is only my second year, and that's what I did when working 50 hours a week in another job. So it's for me, I found that it was about doing the work and being honest with myself, and really using my big why, because you're gonna beat yourself up. You're gonna say, why am I not making sales? And people would be smart asking me, oh, how many sales how many homes have you sold? Sold 1. No, I sold 2. But guess what? That was a $400,000 home, so that's a $12,000 paycheck.
Right.
And people who don't do real estate yet understand that. So you really have to just stay focused on that, and focus on the long term and the big picture. Because I talk about, I'm putting all these deals in my pipeline. I'm like, yeah, and I'm putting deals in my pipeline for a year down the road, 2 years down the road, 3 years down the road, and following up with them. And you focus on that, because that's how you can really grow and be incredibly successful. So that's my first year in real estate.
Congratulations.
Wow.
Congratulations.
Very inspiring.
Thank you.
All right, y'all, why don't you, Gerard, we can just share if you've got another second.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so who are you and whose team are you on and?
I came from this company, namely, which is right down the street. Nicole Ambrose brought me here through KW Perimeter. It was just one of those things where we were talking, and just like you, I was working 55, 60, 70 hours per week. And I still wasn't, I didn't have time to, I don't have any kids, but I just didn't have any time to do anything because I'm working 10 to 12 hours in the office. Getting home, I got to flip over my laptop and work another 3, 4, 5 hours. Because I had clients, I had clients that were in other countries. So they're totally different time zones. And, it was just draining. Money was okay, but it was just draining. I didn't have a quality of life. And I just felt myself coming to a point of maybe having like an anxiety or, just just kind of like snapping. So I just like, hey, I'm just so new to the company. Like, why is my workload so heavy? I'm like, I know I've been doing this for a few years, but I've only been here under 6 months. And you got seasoned people over here who got 3 or 4 clients, 5 clients. I got 27 because I'm the project manager and I'm the IC, I'm the implementation consultant too. So I'm wearing a bunch of hats. And they were just looking at me like, well, toughen up, it's going to get worse. And I was like, oh yeah?
Ooh.
Not for me. So I understand your why. I can relate working all those hours. So I just made a decision. I was like, I'm going to change my life, give myself some, some financial freedom is what I'm searching for, without all the hustle and bustle of,
And working for somebody else.
And working for somebody else. And,
that dictates.
That dictates. And they, whenever they don't want to do something, they just push it off on you. And then it's like, you have to do it or you lose your job. So that's my why. I just I'm a people person, so I don't like just being confined to a laptop and just being like a robot. That's not my personality.
Yeah.
So people have been telling me for years, hey, corporate America, I just don't see you doing that. I'm like, well, as a man, we have to do what we have to do to make.
Gotta pay the bills, right?
You gotta pay the bills. So I just want to find another way to pay the bills, and I just hit the ground running. Like once I got my license and once I got signed on and had a conversation with Stacy and Diane, I just hit the ground running. I've been running every day.
Nice. You join a team?
Not yet.
Oh, okay.
No.
I'm not saying you have to join a team. I thought you brought up a
Right,
team.
I thought you were, but
Yeah, no. Nicole,
she was your sponsor.
yeah, she's my sponsor.
Oh,
Nicole's
okay.
my sponsor.
Got
But
it.
yeah, I just been hitting the ground running, telling everybody I know, talking to people in Lowe's. I was telling her I met 2 girls in Lowe's.
Hell yeah.
Got a client out of it.
Here, where you go? Okay, are you wearing cool socks? You usually wear cool socks. Okay, you got some striped. Look at his socks. No, I love that men wear colorful socks.
Oh, yeah.
You usually
Nice, nice.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah, I like wear a little
Something
style.
with, yeah. Well, Maria, tell us, and then I'll let you go, Tony.
Okay.
She has an interesting background. Before baby.
Yeah.
Who's not?
Well, I'm Maria Connolly. I came to the States 3 years ago. I'm a former helicopter pilot. I'm from Colombia, South America.
Wow.
Yeah, it was completely different life. I came for school. I had a couple of life experience down there flying that told me that I needed to move forward, find something else to do with my life.
Mm-hmm.
So I came to the States and I started my career at Georgia State University, going for economics degree. Then I met my husband over there, got married, had a kid, had to postpone my career for a while because with the baby it's really hard. He's 7 months old right now, so I'm like, okay,
How
I
old?
need to do something. 7 months.
7 months?
7 months.
7 months, okay.
So I was like, well, I need to do something. I've been working since I graduated from high school at 15 years old.
Mm.
I finished my career as a helicopter pilot when I was 17. So I started working when I was 17 years old. I cannot stay at home, like just staying home. Well, my boy was 6 months old. During that time, I got like getting my real estate license and all that. Finally got it. Finally. And decided like this is what I want to do. I started reading Gary Keller, Red Book. Got into the part You Big Why and got really related to You Big Why. I even wrote it. I have it in my phone in my notes. And
So
let me
proud.
share it with you.
Let me tell you, when she got the Red Book, she started reading it. She'd come in to me, Stacy, I can't believe what it says. I'm going to do exactly this. Boom, boom, boom. And she's a devotee. It's fabulous.
Yeah. So this is what I wrote when I was reading the book. It's amazing how easy it was for me to determine my big why. I was reading this part of the book while I was laying down with my son at the same time that my husband was playing his guitar. I just took a look at James and listened to Chris singing, and that's what it is. My family is not just a big why; it's the biggest why.
Nice. It's good to keep that close to you. Like I put mine next to my bed and on my mirror. So every day when I wake up, go to bed, when I'm getting ready, putting on my uniform, every day I was looking at that. I'm not going to put this uniform on forever.
Yes. Okay, so we're inspired. Because I tell you, Tony is the best at telling you this. There are going to be days you're tired, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. And clients can be crazy, but the payoff is good. And I truly believe that the hustle, it doesn't have to be that way forever. You know, first maybe 3 years or so. If you hustle, by the third year, you're definitely seeing the fruits of your labor. And I mean, you're working, but you're not a crazy person.
Mm-hmm. Especially one of the things I really also try to focus on is if you're looking for someone that wants to buy or sell a home, and the percentage of people that want to buy or sell a home in the next 6 months that does not have a realtor is so incredibly small. Like, don't let that beat yourself. Don't beat yourself up on that. In 6 months to a year, there's that don't have a realtor thinking about selling or buying. It's a slightly larger percentage, but the vast majority of people that do not have a realtor are 1 to 2 years out. So just think about that when you're thinking about how you're building your business. That's why it is so hard. If you find someone who wants to sell in 2 years, that's awesome. Yeah, that's great. You got a seller or buyer in your database for 2 years down the road. Just stay in touch.
Keep
in
that relation.
We're gonna talk more about that. Thank you. That was great to give that reality check that you can cultivate a relationship over 1 to 2 years, and they will be they'll work with you. But
yeah, and one of my I'm working with a seller. When I sent out a mailer, it was handwritten mailers, looked like little invitation envelopes. So he opened it, and he's like, he knew I was a startup realtor. He's like, I want to sell in 2 years, and this was so unique. I want to work with you. So that gave me 2 years to cultivate that. That's gave me 2 years to work on that relationship. So.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You keep working. Terry brags on you all the time. He's calling 1,000 a week. So
yeah, it's not an exaggeration.
I know.
Spending 12 hours, 15 hours on the phone a week.
Yeah.
All right.
Very good. Very good.
Work hard. All right.
I am.
All right, Tony, would you mind closing the door? Thanks so much. Now, every agent that's going to come and visit, because I'm asking somebody, is not quite to his level of he knows. Well, he was coming from a high pressure job, so
He's used to high pressure.
Yes.
yes, bless his heart. So, but is there any doubt in your mind that he's going to be successful and he's sticking with it? Yeah. So, all right. So much to tell you. I have my little book display. As we said, Maria has already started in the Red Book, and I didn't think I had read as far. I actually found some underlining back in the Net a Million. I didn't think I'd gone that far. But I have lots of pages, with the corners turned down and stuff. I mean, it is a reference book, so it doesn't read like a novel by any means. I've also found, Gary wrote this book at the beginning of the downturn when prices were falling, people were losing their jobs. But it's so, there's a lot more practical, daily, how-to. This is high level, and so once you finish reading this, I do encourage this, and it doesn't have to be about a downturn. It's great stuff about just doing the business. And I find I made a commitment when I started in real estate that I was going to keep learning even after I'd taken Ignite, and I took Ignite twice, to buy these books and just read a little, maybe 30 minutes, a day, a night, whatever. Keep learning. That was building my confidence, and my knowledge, because you certainly want to be smarter than the public out there. Now, does anybody have this book yet? This is a book that Gary and Jay Papasan wrote, and it's all about getting control of your time, really. And he posits in here, and it's not that there's only one thing in life. It's there's one thing at this moment. So the big question is, what's the one thing that I can do right now, such that by doing it, everything else becomes easier or unnecessary. And for a realtor, their one thing would be lead generation, because if you don't have clients, you're never going to have closings. So one of the points, this book is about all of life, but when it's the end of the day, let's pretend like you have a child, because Maria has a child, and pretend like James is 6, and you come home from work and your child has a ball. Mommy, daddy, come throw the ball with me. And you just want to sit down and decompress. Not that you don't deserve to sit down and decompress, but what's the one thing, you can, that by doing it, everything else becomes easier or unnecessary. Go deal with that for a little while, and then there's still time. Just it's something to be when you don't feel like it. Sometimes just do it, and so it is kind of about delayed gratification. I got this, I guess, the first time I went to either family reunion or mega camp. Anyway, I have the highlights. This one is real easy to read, as opposed to, and actually I did read this one first. So at some point you're going to want to, and Gary does, it's kind of one of his things, the one thing, the surprisingly simple truth behind extraordinary results. So anyway, highly recommend. This one is another Gary and Jay Papasan. Kevin Probst, who's going to teach y'all session 7, Win the Buyer. Whenever he has a first-time home buyer that he meets, he buys these in bulk. I guess we buy them from Keller Williams, I'm not positive. And he gives them to them. Now, it's, let me show you. Decide to buy, hire your agent, secure financing, find your home, make an offer, perform due diligence, close, protect your investment. It's, oh goodness, it has a picture of Gary Keller's first home in here. But just think about this. If a realtor gave you this book, and you talked to them, and I mean, they were nice and decent and everything, not an axe murderer. Would you use anybody else? I think this is a kind of a relationship cementing. So, not necessarily this, but, you know, when Tony was mentioning about, you can meet plenty of people that want to buy, but it's down the road. It's on you to keep giving them information and value and keep the relationship going, so that they don't just all of a sudden they decide now's the time, and they happen to be at a party and somebody says, why don't you call my realtor? You know, so it's relationship building, and but again, the payoff is very good. So there are and would y'all stand up for me? One of my things is that I hate sitting for 3 or 4 hours, and I mean, I'm bad about doing it. So I know that it is just not good for us. I know that we have lunch coming, a vendor, a home inspector is going to bring lunch, and we'll take a break in a while, but I just wanted to mix it up, and feel free to
All right.
oh, stretch, get a let the blood flow.
I've been organizing all the things for my move, and my back is just.
Oh, that's right, Maria just
She
moved.
was telling me this morning.
Yes.
I just moved, and it's been crazy.
Well,
Oh
I can
gosh.
understand you're crazy because I'm having renovations at my house. So I'm living in my living room. I had to put my box spring and my mattress in my living room. So I'm living in my living room.
We were doing renovation too before moving, and it's crazy.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yes, and I know you get it's hard for your back. So anytime we're
I can relate. Because it's like I'm moving because I had to move all this stuff
Yeah.
back in once they're done. And so hopefully this weekend they'll be finished. Hopefully.
So is it just your bathroom, or what rooms are affected?
Well, bathroom, master bedroom. Because I bought an older home from like 1958. So it was a brick ranch on a basement. So I got my basement finished, and I was just like, wow. I was like, the secondary bedroom is bigger than the master bedroom.
Interesting.
With the bathroom that's in it. So I was like, the only way to make this work is to kind of expand this. Just take this closet and just open it up, and then we'll just put a closet over here. Just,
Okay. Now, it may be painful, but this is an excellent experience you're going through, because you will have clients that want to do just that. They're looking at an older home. It might be right where they want to be, or it's got good bones, and you can speak from experience that you can survive a renovation,
you can.
and that you can move closets, or you can expand this or that. Because, anybody that, especially a first-time home buyer, or at least first time to something older, it's hard to imagine, So, that's great to have some experience of your own.
Yeah.
All right, I've got a couple of short videos I wanted to go through. I mean, these are like minute and a half kind of things. So, now, they were all recorded about 4 years ago, so they're not completely new. But with Keller Williams, we have all these sayings. Hello, there I am. And so there's, they call it the 6 perspectives, and it's about their suggested way to think and be accountable, know your big why. Have you on your sheet let's go here. All right. Read me those, Gerard.
The 6 personal perspectives. First one is self-mastery, the 80-20 principle, E to P, learning-based, limiting beliefs, and accountability. Okay.
So one of the big purposes of this session 1 is, there are 4. One is mindset, your attitude, committing to daily lead generation, choosing to be accountable to yourself and others for how you spend your time, how productive, and getting comfortable with using scripts. And when I say that, it's it's not like you're in a play and you're just reading somebody's lines, but practicing what you're going to say in certain situations or in response to certain questions. We're going to watch these quickie videos. We'll be done in 10 minutes. We'll just go from one to the next, and then we can talk about it and specifically about scripts. All right, our first is from the master. Oh, wait. No, not that one. Where's my Gary Keller? Oh. All right, here we go.
Hi, I'm Gary Keller. This course will allow you to get off to a fast start you can build on. Because if you repeated the principles every 90 days for a year, believe me, it's having less than the first year. And just as important, you would have built the foundation and momentum for your entire career. It is practical, realistic, and easy to apply. It's about the fundamentals that determine your level of success in the business of real estate. From our research with top agents, we have found that they too started their careers with these fundamentals, and they continue to do them along with their teams to this very day. And it's not hard. It just requires a little focused effort a few hours every day. Now, there is really just one way to achieve the goal. It's lead generation. Other skills are important, yet without leads to work with, your skills won't mean a thing. Dealing with business never takes precedence over what? Finding business. Never. Research shows that top producing agents make lead generation their #1 priority and the one thing they make sure they always get done. You can do this. And when you do, you will get the leads, the relationships, the experiences, the career, and the income that you want and deserve. Go get them, and good luck.
Let me also mention that definition of a lead, because there's a temptation to buy leads from Zillow or whatever. There's a difference between buying names and numbers of people that have clicked on a house. But a lead is someone who actually needs to buy or sell, and not 2 years from now. Somebody that is, 60 to 90 days, or for sure within 6 months. So don't fall for the, if you pay a third party to just give you names and numbers, they're not all leads. Mm-hmm. They're clicks. Mm-hmm. So a lead, so when we talk about lead generation, you're going to talk to a lot of people, especially the people you already know in your phone. You don't all need to buy and sell, but you still got to talk to them. You want to be their trusted real estate advisor and use you or refer to you. But so lead generation is the process of finding people who actually need your services. And Gary will say that he commits, or when he was still in the business, 3 hours a day, which includes prepping, who you're going to call, getting it all organized, what are you going to say, what are you going to talk about. Like one day if you were calling on friends that all have a common interest, like golf, just you might have read the sports section or whatever about whatever tournament happened. So you're ready to talk to them. That's just an example. And then say an hour you're actually calling, and we're going to talk about the different ways of actually interacting with people. Doesn't have to be phone. And then there's maybe 30 minutes of follow-up, make notes of, okay, so-and-so said this, I promised to call them back here, or send them this or that. So it's not 3 hours of making phone calls, just to dissuade you. But anyway, lead generation. New one thing. Okay, so commit to self-mastery. This guy's Australian.
G'day, I'm Bruce Hardy, and I'm committing to self-mastery. This is one of the main 6 perspectives that I think we all need to focus on, particularly if we want to take our business and our lives to the highest level. When I was younger and lived in Australia, a good friend of mine was a black belt in karate. He invited me to participate in karate, so I joined. I was a white belt. And after about 6 weeks or so, we were one day practicing sparring. And it was interesting because we were throwing a punch, a relatively simple, straightforward punch. We both knew how to do it. The idea was that we would throw the punch and you would stop 2 inches from the other person's face. So my friend, the black belt, would do it, and he would snap, his gi would snap, and I had wind hitting me in the face, and it was just beautiful the way he threw it. Then it was my turn, and I got down, and I went whack, and I watched my friend fall to the floor, because I hit him, instead of stopping 2 inches in front of his face. We both knew how to do it. He'd mastered it, I had not. I will tell you, I brought the same approach to my real estate business. I realized my focus had to be on listings. And what I did was, by focusing on my listing presentation, practicing over and over and over again, I was able to list over 250 homes a year. There's a wonderful saying out there, and that is, amateurs practice to get it right, professionals practice to never get it wrong. My question to you, are you an amateur or are you a professional? Commit to self-mastery.
All right. So later, when we talk about working with sellers and listings, we're gonna we might watch Bruce Hardy's listing presentation, because he's serious when he said I focused on that. He's very thorough. Okay, so self-mastery. You remember I talked about being learning-based, continuing to educate yourself. Of course we're going to have classes, but and really becoming a professional realtor. That's okay. Now 80-20. Well, okay, what's the Pareto principle?
20% of your effort will become 20%. No.
80% of your results, yes. So, or 20% of the people do 80% of the work. Or, you can put it in different applications. In real estate, the 20% is your lead generation, finding people who need your services. And, it should be clear that so you don't need to spend 8 hours lead generating. If you spent whatever the 20%, you know what I mean. It's going to bring, the business. So he's going to talk about the 80-20. So from now on in your Keller Williams real estate career, your 20% is code word for lead generation, and it's income producing activities. And we're going to talk a little bit later my lead generation activities, all the different things you can do to reach out and connect with people. It's not just phone calling, but that's your 20%. Here we go.
Hi, I'm Madison Offenhauser, and I am committed to the 80-20 principle. I can say that honestly, I'm committed to it now. I wasn't always. I remember back when I was a team leader, and I was going to also become an OP. Back then, I think I was a really expert listening.
Okay. Brad is our team leader. Each office is considered a team. He's our now OPs, all these acronyms. OP stands for operating principle. So even though each office is a franchise, our liaison to headquarters is our operating principle. That person is accountable both ways, and that's Jean Rawls. We're part of the Rawls group, so Jean Rawls is our OP. She has to represent the standards of Keller Williams International, Keller Williams Realty International, KWRI. So she defends us to them and she represents them to us, so OP is operating principle. And sometimes there's just a single OP has one office, but you could have multiple. Jean has 6. And the Rawls group is number what in Atlanta? 6 years in a row?
1.
And in Georgia?
1.
Oh.
And I thought I was good at prioritizing what was on that list, but I felt so incredibly torn trying to get all the things done in a day that were important to get done. The big rocks were mixed in with the small things, and I just found that wasn't really working, to the point that I was about to give up my OP role. And I started to interview people through the RS process to replace myself. And in the process of that, oddly enough, just like the week before we go on vacation, I got my house in order, so to speak. I identified the big rocks that I really needed to get done. And in the process of doing that, I found that I was organizing myself really to the 80-20 principle. So once I realized that, I thought, you know what? I think I can actually continue to do both of these roles. And truly, it was the 80-20 principle. I started focusing on my big rocks first. Instead of having a big list where my big rocks were mixed in, I do them first now. Those are definitely done, because obviously, if I'm focusing on my 20%, my big rocks, 80% of the results are going to come from those 20. It has been life-changing for me, and my results are much greater. The other part of it is I found became so much more time efficient that I actually am capable of handling more roles and accomplishing more things than I ever thought was possible before. And it's all because of the 80-20 principle. I truly am committed to it. Are you committed to the 80-20 principle?
Okay, moving from E to P. E is entrepreneurial, P is purposeful. An entrepreneur, like the last fellow was talking about, you make your to-do list of the day, right? And all the things you gotta do. And you just tackle them, cross them off, you're putting out fires, so you're hustling, but it's not as strategic as being purposeful. And I hope you're picking up the theme that all of these lead you to thinking, okay, if I tend to my lead generation, I can do everything else, and I can, you don't have a business if you don't have people to do business with. So
experience moving from E to P. Entrepreneurial to purposeful. And I want to share a personal story with you about how that happened in my own career. As I entered the real estate field, I began to lead generate. And in my lead generation process, I just kind of winged it. Like that's what I call it. I was not purposeful. I lead generated when it was convenient. I lead generated when I was around familiar faces. I lead generated when I was in a familiar environment. And guess what? My results reflected the haphazardness of that lead generation. When I became purposeful, my results showed that purposefulness. As I looked to pick up the phone and make those calls, and I blocked time for my lead generation, my appointments went up. When my appointments went up, my actual results reflected those appointments. So I know in my own life, just lead generating and knowing when I was in E versus when I was in P, that my results were different and I became a purposeful lead generator. And I know that can happen for you. So let me share with you 5 quick concepts that really helped me move from E to P. Number 1, focus. Focus on that 20%. Number 2, create strategies and action items that will support you staying in that focused 20%. Number 3, follow the model. The next item would be to install and implement the systems. Implement systems that support the model. And finally, number 5, be accountable. Make sure that you're tracking and you're looking at, as I was, the entrepreneurial piece versus the purposeful piece. So if you are willing to embrace these 5 quick concepts that I just shared with you, your world can change just like mine has. Are you willing to move from entrepreneurial to purposeful?
Regional Director of the North Florida region. I made learning-based the foundation for my action plan from the time I started with Keller Williams in 1999. I quickly learned that Keller Williams was a training and coaching company that happened to sell real estate. I was amazed at all of the training available to help agents go from having a sales job to teaching them how to run a real estate business and develop into leaders. As a former team leader in Plano, Texas, I took every opportunity to attend agent training classes and leadership classes. I then brought that information back to our market center and used this to teach our agents. I know that being learning-based and continuing to attend the KWU and regional training events resulted in my leadership opportunities in Keller Williams as a team leader and now in my OP, regional director, and master faculty roles. Being learning-based provides you the opportunity to use the 80-20 model effectively to master what you need to do to stay in your 20%. It is the key for moving from E to P as you need to learn new models and systems to break through your current ceiling and you continue to reach new ceilings. How do you break through limiting beliefs without learning what it will take to get you out of that fixed mindset and move you into unlimited thinking? Learning-based is being accountable to the learned activities you need to do to grow your business and not go into victim mode. All of this takes you to mastery. The mastery of you to have unlimited opportunities in Keller Williams. Make learning-based the foundation of your action plan for unlimited success. I did.
My name is Jackie Ellis, and I'm here to talk to you about removing your limiting beliefs. Shortly after joining Keller Williams, I began attending all of the fabulous events available to us, like Mega Camp and Family Reunion. And on the stage were amazing agents openly sharing their strategies for success. And I, very much like you, would be in the audience, writing down notes and taking those strategies back to my own marketplace, which I did implement. Well, a few years after attending Mega Camp, once again in the audience, I realized as I was looking up at these amazing agents that they had fabulous businesses and that I would never have that sort of a high volume, high impact business. So when I got back into town, I took a quiet moment to myself and I took out a piece of paper and wrote a line down the middle, and on the left side I wrote all of the things that I had going for me on my side that I could use to create one of these fabulous businesses. I had the training, and I could take the training through Keller Williams as many times as I wanted. There were models that if I just followed them, I could be a success like those on stage. And there were systems as well. After completing the left side of my page, I went over to the right side, and I began to write what would be holding me back. And as I stared at the right side, I could not think of one thing to put on that piece of paper. I realized it was my limiting beliefs, my very own limiting beliefs that were holding me back. And once I removed them, there would be no holding me back. So fast forward to now, and those very agents that I saw on stage are now my friends, and I'm well on the track to one of those very businesses that I so admired. I want to know, do you have limiting beliefs? Do you recognize them? And what are you going to do to remove them?
We're going to talk more about that. Last one.
Hi, I'm Gina Roth, and I'm here to talk to you about accountability and what accountability means to me. You know, accountability in all reality is that it's the foundation of your day. And when I wake up in the morning, for me to go work out, if I don't have some kind of accountability, it doesn't happen. And so what do? I have a trainer. I pay him, therefore it forces me to show up and work out early in the morning. We have so much natural ability, and it's getting us so far in life. But the reality is, without some structure and some accountability, that allows us to move past our natural tendencies. So for example, on accountability inside our real estate team is our 401s, which is our accountability tool that Keller Williams has taught us to use with our team members. And so we find out what are their yearly goals, how can we break that into a monthly goal, and then how can we do that into 4 weeks, each week, moving them towards that. And it's not just about business goals and financial goals, but it's personal goals. I find out what's important to them, they find out what's important to me, and together we grow the business. Accountability isn't always roses. Sometimes life steps in, and the cool thing about Keller Williams is we really focus on identifying that. We've got the tools to understand when you're heading off the road of accountability and blaming yourself, blaming others, because you're not going to get anywhere. And so that's where accountability steps in. And you can make the decision to step out of that, move forward, get back into the language that's going to move you forward, and use the tools that these perspectives give you. Having that and having a plan and focusing back on that is where accountability can totally make a difference, change your life, and quite frankly, change your family's life, your destiny, your legacy.
Thank you, Gina. Run. Okay. What I want to just cover, let's go back to limiting beliefs. If you would turn to page 12 in your book. And the first example up at the top, I have to be an expert and know everything before I can begin my business. I'm not valid yet. So, as brand new agents, of course, you're gonna think, oh, what do I bring to the table versus these other agents? No, that's not the way you should think, because guess what? You have experience already in your life that you can bring to bear. You're not 5 years old. You've got other experiences, so we'll practice translating your life experiences to help how would you counteract if you were giving advice to a friend and a friend in the business said, oh, I have to know everything before I can put my big toe in the water. I have to know everything before I can call somebody. How might you counsel them to stop being stuck?
I know for me personally, I'm kind of direct.
Mm-hmm.
So, if it was a friend of mine, I would probably tell him or her, like, hey, well, you're never going to make a call, or you're never going to get started in business because you're never going to know everything. Like, in life, we learn something new every day.
Good.
My past jobs, I was good at what I was doing, but I learned something every day. And you can't be at a point where you're going to allow that to stop you from going out here to do what you need to do, because you're going to have to go through some bumps and some bruises to learn.
Mm-hmm. Very good point. Got anything to add, Maria?
No, he just gave me the speech to me. I was stuck on that one.
Now, you guys have already been through your pre-license course. You have gotten your license, so you've already accomplished something. You're going to be taking Ignite. You do know more than the public already. You may not feel like it. And we're gonna practice everything through this process. But you could meet somebody this afternoon that they've already found a property and they want to make an offer. Do not despair. Diane and I are here to help you if you are, have transactions, a listing, a client wants to buy. Before we get to that class, and it happens, just text or call us and we will help you through. So don't turn down business, and but by the end of Ignite, if somebody says, I want to hire you to do this or do that, you'll know how to get started. And we're going to give you some cheat sheets to remember, what are the first few steps I do? And we're going to practice actually making an offer, filling out a contract. We're going to do all that so that you can at least begin. And then it is perfectly fine to say, Stacy or Diane, will you check what I've done? Make sure it's right before I hit send. Absolutely. But we do want to empower you to and give you the tools of where to go, how to do this and that. Okay, so because it does happen, and I hope it does happen that y'all got somebody that wants to do something before you graduate. That'll be okay.
That would be awesome.
Exactly.
Do you mind if I make a call real quick? Sorry.
Not at all. Why don't we take a break? Let's just take a break till 11:30, then we can have our lunch and I can find out where the other people that were supposed to be here are. And
we'll have lunch at 11:30, or
yes,
okay.
We'll have lunch at 11:30, so you can make calls,
okay.
Use a restroom, and what I always do is turn the deadbolt so we can go that way. To the restroom.
I'm sorry, they didn't answer. Do you know by chance an employment attorney?
Wait, say again?
Do you know by chance an employment attorney?
An employment
Attorney, like
Oh,
lawyer?
All right, I'm 20. Not off the top of my head, but Paul Yaku at Ganic PC, our preferred closing attorney. He's just a great resource, and I bet that if you emailed him, he could recommend somebody. So I can give you his email if you'd like to. Sure. Here, why don't I, all right, it's Paul Y for Paul Yaku. Paul Y at Ganic, Ganek,
At Ganic.
PC.com. It's Nek, Ganek. All right. That's how you spell Ganek.
Sorry.
That's okay. No, it's a funny name.
It's Pauly.
So for Paul Yaku, it's first name, last initial.
Un abogado de, trabajo, un employment attorney, employment lawyer. Sí, les lego.
Hello.
Me puedes preguntar, es que quiero gestionar una reunión con Human Resources a las 3:30. Quiero ver si puedo hablar con alguien antes de esa reunión.
So I told them at 11:30 that they get their food.
Oh, okay. Which way are you going?
I'm just hanging out.
Okay.
Just looking.
Hey, yes.
Well, this will be quick then.
Then it's just wafting. It smells so good.
It does.
And
What
you
time's
can have
lunch?
some. You can have some.
What time's
Yes,
lunch?
have some, because I'm sure.
Yes. I'm spreading the word.
I'm Randy.
Hi, I'm Barbara Fisher with Home Pro.
Hi, Barbara.
Nice to
I'm
meet
Randy
Randy
and
with.
Certainty Younglings.
Oh, okay.
I don't have a certainty shirt on today. Oops, sorry.
That's all right.
Oh, it does. It smells delicious. And
Yes.
you're doing all of this?
Yeah, tzatziki's.
Oh, this is best.
We have them catered.
Seriously, it's not like Maria's gonna come make her plate.
Have some, yeah. I mean, I ordered for 10, so.
That's right.
And their catering, their service is amazing, and the food
It's
is
like
really good.
obviously way more than
I
for
know.
10.
Yeah.
I
All
know.
right. Well, I will.
Yeah, do it.
Because I'm starved. And I'm too busy to leave for lunch.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, do you want
No, go. No, I'm right behind you.
So maybe it's summertime, the class is a small,
Yeah.
yeah.
Hey,
How are you?
You know Barbara? Home Pro?
Uh,
Clax Underwood?
We met, yes, I think you won the bottle of wine last time I was here when we did the raffle. Yeah. And your name is interestingly enough that it's easy to remember.
One of those oddball names, yes.
But that's good, because, you know. it's-
Claxton fruitcake,
Right.
that's how
Where'd it come from? Family name? Something? Yeah.
Yep.
You would sort of think something like that.
Clax, have you met Maria Connolly? Clax
Nice
Underwood?
to meet you. Sorry.
So small group?
Yeah, well, 2 today. I've got 3 to 4. One of whom I knew was not going to be here. She's with her children on a previously scheduled. But there should have been 6. And then we have additional ones that are like new to our office that will pop in and out, but they typically don't come to day 1. So
How many days is the whole night?
12 sessions.
Like all in a row or every week or?
We do 3 per week.
Oh, okay.
And
Nice to see you again.
Nice
we
to
were
see you
doing
too.
Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but then we switched to Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, so that if people were going away for, a long weekend. And then there's Gerard. This is Barbara.
Hi,
Fisher
Barbara with
from
Home Pro. It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Inspection.
Maria Connolly.
Maria
Well, I'll
Connolly.
give you what I was going to give everybody.
So y'all get the goodies that,
Oh, now we got somebody else here. I better get mine quick.
yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So are you guys brand new or?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, exciting. Exciting. Well, go get a plate and then I'll
Oh, that's fine.
bother you about home
No
inspection.
worries.
Oh, yeah, because she's going to talk.
I won't even really bother you. It won't even take that
All right,
long.
you're fine.
I feel like traffic's already lighter now that kids are out of school.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? I'm like, it's only been a day, but.
I know, but nobody's complaining.
No, traffic is lighter. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not a.
I mean, my kids just got out on Friday, but I'm like, why does it already seem?
It's not
Well,
an
they went all the
illusion.
way till the
Yeah,
30th.
we're a city of Decatur, and my
Oh.
kids are in 6th and 8th grade. They've never ever gone past Memorial Day, and for whatever reason, I feel like we had the same breaks, the same days off. And everybody was all mad about it. I mean, I
Did you see when school's starting
don't know
next?
that I really. Ours start August 1st.
August 1st.
Always, yeah, they have.
And I'm like,
But I'll tell you, we get a week off in September, a week for Thanksgiving, a week in February, and a week in April.
I went.
Which is
I was
really
out
nice.
Memorial
Like,
Day.
just when the
Labor
kids
Day
have been
to
back and
Memorial
they're
Day.
kind of
Yeah.
sick of it and
That
the
was our
routine, you get a whole
summer
week off
vacation
in
for us. That was
September.
back in the Stone Age.
And I don't know,
Yeah.
Yeah, what do you
I
mean?
don't mind
Call me
either.
old.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
old
They
too.
get
Don't
9
be
weeks of summer.
don't be calling me old.
Everyone says,
No, I was
"Oh,
in
that's
Stone
so
Age
short."
too.
It's really not. Like,
Those
they
are
go to
stone age,
camp,
too.
they go to the pool, they get bored, they have enough summer. Like, there's nothing else that they are missing by having 3 other weeks. Neighbors of ours moved to actually Boise, Idaho. They have 13 weeks of summer. I was like,
Yeah, but I bet they don't get those breaks
right. And
during
I'm
the
like,
school year.
What do you do with them for 13 weeks? Like, oh.
Listen to you later. All right, get my, just want to mention to them.
Thank you for lunch.
No problem. Well, I mean, since there's only 2 of you, I'll just do a quick little blurb. I mean, we do home inspections, which is pretty self-explanatory. But all of our inspectors are full-time employees.
Oh,
So they're
goodness.
solidly invested in our company, maybe more so than some that only get paid when they inspect. And this little thing, which I gave you, we made, is called the Realtor Reference Handbook. And I mean, I'm not going to read through the whole thing with you, but one thing that people have really loved is on page 6, it's cost estimates for repair. So we went and did pretty extensive research on just ballparks, like here, fireplace, how much it costs, which has been really helpful. Like, you know, I mean, a first-time home buyer has no idea if a roof costs $1,000 or $20,000.
Right.
And this is just a handy little.
You want to hold on to
book.
that?
I know.
Yeah.
And if you ever need more, or if you ever have any home inspection questions, you're welcome to call us, even if you don't need us, or if you're not quite there yet. We're always available to answer questions. We also teach some CE classes, which they'll let you know. Melanie, my boss, is an amazing teacher, and she does some of the continuing education classes too, so you guys might not be quite as valuable. I don't know when you have to do, when do you have to start doing CEs, right after you get your license?
I think half a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So did y'all just get your licenses, or just came to
I
this
just
office?
got my license.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, just last month.
Wow, exciting. There's a lot going on. I feel like.
Yeah.
That's right. I mean,
I feel like there's enough for everybody.
I feel like that too.
Yeah.
It's.
But
It's just I was at an open house this weekend. There's some people out here who are just not doing their part. Two guys came in, and I was like, "You got an agent?" And they were like, "Yeah, but she's just so difficult to get in contact with." I was like,
well, and some of it too, I mean, because we go to a number of different Keller Williams offices. I mean, it all seems simple, but I think sometimes it's not simple. Like, you see people that really are the ones that go ahead, are the ones that provide that service. I mean, it's a big
Paying the salary, yes.
thing to buy,
It is.
you know, and
Not
people are trusting you. I mean, I feel like with anything, if you can have good customer service and follow up with them, you can do really, really well. You know? I don't know if I have any other information for you. But if you do have any questions about anything at all about home inspections, we are a preferred vendor here. And I know a bunch of people here have used us.
"What's the average cost for your company? Like $450, $500?"
We base it strictly on square footage. So we have like a model in the computer, we type in, I would say, you know, a 2,000 square foot house is probably, $450, somewhere around there. And then it's a little bit less, the square footage model for condos and townhomes is a little bit less, just because there's less exterior, you know, sometimes the roof isn't part of it, there's often not a basement in those kind of units. I mean, some condos, like a high-rise condo, doesn't have any exterior.
Right.
So yeah, it's about, you know, we're sort of right on par with, and we work 6 days a week, we're just closed on Sunday. So we do work on Saturdays too, so, yeah. So, you know, let me get you one of my cards, that would help too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And good luck to you guys. I'm sure I'll see you back for some of the other meetings and stuff. So I'll see you guys back here.
Yeah.
Nice to see you.
Thank you.
All right, I'm out.
Thank you. Well,
That was painless for a Monday. And I'll be back. I'm sure we'll be back. And please tell everyone.
oh yeah, we passed the word to the rest of the staff.
Oh, good.
Oh,
Yes.
it'll get eaten.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, because it's
Okay.
so good. So
Well,
good.
and oftentimes it smells
Good.
good. People are like, what's that smell?
Oh, I know. I guess it's the chicken that just, boy, when she was setting it up, it was wafting, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, y'all have a great day.
You too. Thank you.
This is my favorite restaurant ever.
What's-
Like I eat here at least 3 or 4 times
What
a
restaurant
week.
is this?
Tzatziki's.
So
Oh, Tzatziki's. Yeah. They cater that when I work down the street.
Wow. Come on in. Come on in.
Sure.
But you have to meet my friends.
I think I've met one of your friends.
Yeah, we've met.
How are you?
Gerard
How are you?
Davis
Good to
and
see you.
Maria.
Nice to meet you.
Gonna meet you.
Welcome. Well, y'all are in good hands with Miss Stubbs. I have a question that could also be a learning opportunity.
Lay it on us.
Hypothetical. You may hear more about it in the upcoming weeks. If you hire an inspector, comes and inspects the house, you know, standard stuff, deal with it, the house closes, you bring in your contractor who starts to rip out some old flooring, and you find a substantial amount of rot, water damage. Is the inspector, doesn't the inspection company have some sort of guarantee? Like what happens in that situation?
Typically, they have a 90-day guarantee of, well, and you know, it's not cookie cutter. You certainly would, that, gosh, I wish Barbara hadn't just left. I'm gonna have to consult on that because I don't wanna claim something I'm not sure of.
Right.
Whether,
I mean, because an inspector's not going to start ripping out floors to see what's underneath.
no.
I mean, that's not part of their.
The thing is, whenever you have rot or water stains, it's because there was water where there shouldn't have been.
Right.
So so there's evidence of that, which they would have noted. If somewhere in the ownership chain, somebody had basically papered over it, so it was, you know, the proverbial lipstick on a pig, then it really wouldn't be on the inspector, it'd be more the seller.
Because it wasn't disclosed. And
But the thing is, let's just say the property changed hands every 5 years. It might not have been the people that your buyers bought from.
I see.
I
see.
Georgia is a buyer beware state, meaning that the buyer has to expect something unexpected. So that's a very unfortunate situation.
Yeah.
Please tell me this didn't happen to you.
So the question that I got was, what does the appraiser do when they're at the home? Like she was trying to see if it was something that we missed. And I said, honestly, we're looking for value. We're looking for how much square footage is on the gross living area, how much is below. You know, everything has different values. We make sure that what the tax records say is true, how many bedrooms, how many baths, that sort of stuff. And she says, you know, would the appraiser notice if there was water damage? And I said, for an FHA loan, probably. They would have seen something, but that's a totally different type of appraisal. It's a totally different type of appraiser. They have to be FHA certified. This particular transaction was conventional, so no. I mean, I can't imagine maybe if they'd seen it, would they have taken a picture of it? Maybe. I don't know. I think that they sort of have their set of things that they're supposed to do, and that's what they stick with.
Mm-hmm.
So that was my answer was, and I said, well, what about, the inspection? And then we started talking. She said, well, that's really what I'm focusing on, that and the seller's disclosure.
Mm-hmm.
But, I'm very inquisitive, and I always say, well, I want to make sense of this. I've only bought 2 houses in my life, and we have not had, any sort of issues. One was an older house, too. In fact, we bought it without having an inspection. Can you imagine?
Why?
Can you imagine? Because the seller said, basically they said we're selling it as is, and our agent said that means no appraisal. But really, no inspection, but really we could have had it inspected, but they weren't willing to pay for anything.
Make it repairs, correct.
And at the time, I guess, our agent, who is now no longer an agent, didn't really know how to advise us. Because we should have had it inspected just for our own knowledge whether or not we wanted to buy the
That's
house.
what we teach.
Right.
Always, always, always.
This was 13, 14 years ago. That's why you use an agent, right? You use a very well educated, trained agent, and I think that's one of the benefits of being here. So this is all very interesting. I'm going to follow this. I'm kind of not saying more than that. I'm not naming names and stuff because that person wants to sort of figure this out, and then.
Well, if I were called in, first thing I'd do is ask for a copy of the inspection report and see if the inspector had made note of, there are water stains.
Yeah.
Something must have happened.
It's a lot. It's like if you look up from the deck or underneath, I don't know. She was saying how you can see that the floors, that basically the contractor said, do not move into this house. That it could be a hazard. There's no. I'm thinking, when you walked around and it feel a little soft,
spongy.
There are a lot of things they're starting to uncover now that the contractor's in there and pulling things away and.
Well, without seeing the listing, the photos, the disclosures, the inspectors, it's still hard for me to know. Were they did they have blinders on? They wanted this house, so they ignored what information was given, or they're, because at worst case, it's almost like you think fraud, where.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think that it's sort of, like you said, it's just one of those things where it just sort of happened, I don't know. I'm like,
Thank you.
oh, is this a card?
A no card. You want it?
Oh, dog. Okay. Thought I'd just throw that out there.
Yeah, had a similar issue yesterday. I was showing a house.
Yeah. Sure.
And it's being sold as is. And we went upstairs, they had nice floors, they had just redone the floors, some kind of like wood floors, like the planks. We went upstairs, and it was kind of spongy. So she was like, oh, I really like this house. I was like, did you walk where I just walked? She was like, yeah. I said, did you feel the floor sink? And she was like, yeah, what is that? And I was like, I don't know. I said, it could be that the subfloor is bad up here. I said, you won't know until you get an inspection and a contractor looks at it. I said, but this house is being sold as is, which means the seller is not willing to make any of the repairs. I said, that's going to have to come out of your pocket.
Right.
I said, so just an FYI.
Yes. Good for you.
But yeah, some people out here who are blind to certain things.
Yeah.
Then they'll say you didn't tell them.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know I'm new, but I've had some
Sounds like
experience.
you've been in a, in that situation. What did you do before being an agent?
I was HRIS consultant at Namely, and then before Namely, I was an HRIS consultant at ADP.
Well, you'll be at home with all their cool systems they have here. And they are cool. It sounds like you know something about houses too.
I've been, just kind of been out there, just taking my bumps and bruises.
All right. You're
Right,
probably
well-
going to hear about that eventually.
Right. Okay.
All right, I can steal some of this food.
Please. Oh gosh, there's tea. Would you look at that tea and tell me if it's sweet or unsweet? It's probably unsweet.
Yes. You want some?
Yes, I do.
Oh, it's good ice. It's a good yummy little.
Have you started meeting with Terry Cummings?
Not yet. I had a meeting with her on the 16th of May. But that was the day of the investor caravan that we were doing.
I highly recommend.
Yeah.
Would that have been your first with her? It is free.
Hey, babe.
You get to.
Jace, you want some sweetener?
So many. No, thank you. Maybe lemon.
Lemon?
Please, thank you. Hi, Deb. Good representation of Certainty Home Loans.
Yeah.
We got the memo.
She has decades of experience. She knows that Keller Williams sister. She'll help keep you on track. Oh, you're so nice. Thank you. And so a 30-minute session every week until you cap. You know what capping is? Okay. Free coaching. Do it.
I am. It's just I've been out here trying to get some business.
Yeah. Right. And well, now that Ignite has started and you're coming in regularly, maybe that'll, you know, you can piggyback, get an appointment.
Right after this. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my God, yeah.
They can make it out to
So
in there for that.
your big why is,
Thank you.
and I have to work so hard, replace your income and then some.
And then too, it's just I've worked so hard for so long in corporate America. So my background is in HR. So just like Tony, that's a high stress environment all the time because you deal with everybody's problems, issues, that are not problems, they make problems.
Compliance,
firing. Because I worked in HR.
that was very stressful.
Very stressful. Because I worked at Home Depot corporate for 5 years in HR.
Did you really?
So, with that being said, I just, like I said before, I wanted something where I could truly be me, who I am. Because my purpose is not only just to, you know, not work for somebody, but my purpose is, or what I really enjoy doing is helping. And just teaching people, you know, walking through the process, holding their hand. And just to see the joy that they get out of it. Like you said, a lot of people find their first home.
And typically 40% of the sales are to
So that's
you can just focus on that if you want to.
yeah, because I mean my background has been HR, customer service. So I've had numerous customer service trainings and seminars, and I had to lead customer service trainings and seminars.
You've got a wonderful background.
Certainty
Yeah,
people get together and take
also,
hands.
I'm a charter member of Toastmasters Club as well.
You are like. Actually, I've never done Toastmasters. I should have, but
That's the problem. It's like, what are these
I was one of the
all of
founders.
your people training, dealing with people is going to be so beneficial.
the best thing is it's
You'll
good
find
for
that
catering because it keeps
we
good.
talk
Some
in
food is better
Tuesday
served.
sales
This
meetings.
keeps great.
It does.
It's just as good like this as it is at the restaurant.
There's clients, and they're freaking out
Was
because
that somebody's
it's
phone
the biggest
sitting there?
That's mine.
purchase of their life.
Make sure it wasn't.
So I mean, it's big money. And then you've got the other agents that we advocate that you're professional, you remain calm, and you treat them the way you want to be treated. You're welcome. You're welcome. We'll thank Barbara Fisher from Home Pro. Home Pro did this.
Is that an inspection?
Yes.
Inspector?
Mm-hmm.
So what's my
It must be Sherry's because I didn't bring not me.
Hey, Mr. Washington, how you doing?
Hey, Stacy,
Yes.
while you're in here educating people, I haven't heard anything about command lately. Has it been real quiet? What's going on in the last month or two?
It's not quiet at KW, but I mean in Austin we just decided to let more things get settled before
keep making changes.
Mm-hmm.
See how
That's
it
what I
goes.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for command for teams to come out. It's supposed to come out second quarter.
Because
So,
I've got
we
I got some contacts I've made over the weekend in open house, and I thought, well, gee, I should put them in command, and I realized I hadn't heard anything about command lately.
There is no reason to not go in there, but whereas with E-Edge, they had the built-in drip campaigns, I don't think they're built in yet to command.
Right.
So you could keep your contacts in there. You're not going to go anywhere, but if you're it's just that tough transition.
Yeah.
Where we're not quite there. We're partnered there.
Running two, yeah. I think, what did John say? He wanted to run both of them parallel for the first year, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Before he gets rid of top producer. So.
Right.
Thank you for the food.
You're so welcome.
Yeah, this is my fave.
Everybody loves
It's many people's fave.
And the best thing about it is, it serves well for catering. Some food is not as good when you box it up and you bring it someplace.
Yeah.
It's not as good as when you get it at the table at the restaurant. But this keeps just as good like this.
It does. You're so right.
It's just as delicious this way as it is if you order in.
I love to be